Alright, thanks for joining us again on another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to turn on your irrigation system. Before you begin, the first stop you want to make is check your water meter. You want to make sure your water meter is not moving. No washer and dryer, no showers, no dishwasher. So if your water meter is not moving, then good. Now we can move on to setting up your timer. Most importantly, number one rule, you need to make sure your date and time is correct on your timer. Because if this is wrong, then the programs you set won't be running on the programs you think they're set on because the date and time is incorrect. Set your start times for when you want the watering cycle to begin. Then you can set each zone for how long you want them to run for. If at first you're unsure how long you want to water for, I'd recommend watering for a short amount of time and then adding watering times if you think it needs more. Then pick which days you want to water. The days you choose correspond to the start times you chose earlier. You usually have options of odd and even days and interval days, so you can choose how many days between each watering. And that's it, you're pretty much set. The remaining options on the controller are usually manual override, accessories that the controller has, or even just turning it off. Alright, now time to turn on the water. You've checked the main control, you've made sure the water meter's not moving. We don't want it moving, we want it stopped. You need to locate now the shutoff valve, which turns the water on. There are different kinds of shutoff valve. Most of them are ball valves. Some just have different looking handles, but they're great and they're reliable. And here we have a gate valve. As the name implies, it's a gate style shutter coming down, blocking the water path. I don't really like them. I do like ball valves better. They're much easier to use. Here I have a gate valve as the shut off to the whole entire home, and I would like to replace it for a ball valve, but you can't really touch anything before the water meter. Now that you've found your ball or gate valve, you can just open it up nice and slowly. Remember to turn on water lines slowly all the time. But hang on, nothing really happened. That's right, I forgot I installed another ball valve further upstream. Once I opened this up, all the water started to rush. What you should expect is to have the water go really quickly, very fast, and then eventually slow down, and then eventually have the water come to a complete stop. The water meter will tell you that the water has stopped, and this tells you that there are no leaks. Now, just a quick 10-second lesson on water meters. They have three instruments showing information. One dial will show the large volumes of water passing through, another showing the small volumes of water passing through, and the final one is just the total volume used. Okay, you got your timer set, you got your water on, A-OK. Now it's time to go back to the controller and set a test. Some controllers have a test feature, but this one here doesn't, so I have to set up a ghost program where I just set 2 minutes on each zone and then just hit manual override. You should momentarily hear the water turn on, and at that point you can go outside and check your sprinklers. Now the water meter trick to find leaks only works on the main line. You will not find leaks on the outside once the zones are running with the water meter. For that you'll have to do visual inspections. So that's what you basically want to happen in a perfect world. You turn on the system and there's no issues, but what if there are issues? So here we're just going to go through some troubleshooting and some common problems that you might run into. One issue is you try to run a test, but there's no water. And like today, I actually forgot I had the second valve, so check for second valves that might be on the lines. Don't forget you might have one outside as well. Okay, now what if you know the water's on but you're still not getting anything to turn on? At this point it might just be an electrical problem. A thing to note, if it's just one zone not working, it might just be your solenoid. If it's a lot of zones not working in a group, it might be your common wire that might be the issue. You should expect to replace a solenoid from time to time. Now, what if you know the water's on, you know it's on because you went around turning them all on, and your water meter is just going, and it won't slow down and it won't stop, it just keeps going. The first thing I would do is go outside and check your faucets to make sure they're closed because they could be wide open and then when you turn on the water inside, water just gushing outside out onto the ground. Now if you've closed that and the water continues to go, then you might have to dig deep and go inside the valve box. When you get into the valve box and get in there, make sure the bleed screws and the solenoids are tightened down. Bleed screws have a little slit in them. To put it simply, it allows the valve to turn on. It's also used to flush debris out of the valves. Now if you know that's tight, make sure the solenoid is snugged down. Some valves are different, but this is a common issue if you have a two-piece thing on the top, where you've snugged it down but there still seems to be room to go. What you'll need to do is remove the solenoid from the piece below. Once you do that, you'll notice that there's another piece. This piece has grooves in it and kind of acts like a key. You can use it to snug down the piece. Once it's snugged down, make sure to not tighten it too much. Then you can replace the key in an appropriate spot just before this stopper. At that point, reinstall the solenoid and snug it down nice and tight. Not too tight, remember, but snug it down, and that's one way to stop the water from getting past. The procedure to replace the solenoid is almost identical to what you've just seen. Sometimes the tops of the valves become loose from the winter thaw, and you might see some water on top of the valves. You may have to tighten down the ring around the top there. Some valves have screws that you would need to tighten down. This isn't really supposed to happen, but I do see it happen up here in Canada. And there we have it. There's a little short on how to turn on your irrigation system and a couple problems you might run into. I know I didn't cover all the problems that some people might face, but drop a comment below and then maybe I can help answer that. Thanks for watching.